From Los Angeles to a worldwide audience, this is Boaz Power TV, where we take your life to the next level. Now, internationally known speaker and author, here's Boaz.
Hi, welcome to the Power Show. You are part of the Power Nation, and I'm so glad that you're here. This is episode number 92 on Boaz Power TV, and it's called The Hog That Made a Comeback. And I wrote this way back in 2003. Now, being Jewish, I probably should not be talking about pigs. Not a kosher idea. However, the subject of this story is not just a pig, it's a hog. A hog that for quite a few years was in hog heaven. Then this hog found himself facing some challenges. Some hogs, like some people, have an incredible level of determination and commitment. This one made a comeback that we can all admire. A comeback that put him back on the road to success. Speaking of commitment, an interesting correlation comes to mind. Commitment is like bacon and eggs. The chicken made a contribution, but the pig made a commitment. Now, getting back to our hog, it all started at about the time the Wright brothers were trying to catch a flight at Kitty Hawk. They had a bicycle store in Ohio, but thought that they'd better concentrate on the airplane idea since there could eventually be frequent flyer miles involved. So some other folks spent time thinking about the bicycle. They were not big on the idea of putting the pedal to the metal and wanted to find a way to make the bicycle go faster without human power. That meant either getting somebody to push them or they could simply add a motor. So one place where such research was taking place was a 10 by 15 foot backyard wooden shed in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. In this unimpressive place, the predecessor of the modern day hog was born in 1903. There you would have found 21-year-old William and 20-year-old Arthur. You know these fellows by their last names, William Harley and Arthur Davidson. Arthur's brother Walter later joined their efforts. On the door of their shed was a crudely scrawled sign that read, Harley-Davidson Motor Company. They called the company Harley-Davidson because Bill Harley had the idea first to build a motorcycle. Instead of just mounting an engine on a standard bicycle frame, Bill and Arthur made a real breakthrough by creating a new frame that cradled the engine. To start some of the early models of the Harley-Davidson, the rider would pedal the bike while it was still on its rear stand. A lever would be moved to tighten the belt attached to the motor. Once started, the motorcycle was moved off the stand and the rider kept pedaling until there was enough engine compression. Then the rider soared away under power. These motorcycles were ahead of their time. They ran well, pulled strong, and were a lot of fun to ride. Production was slow at first, but Bill and Arthur were persistent. In 1903, they built 3 motorcycles and the same number in 1904. By 1905, they made 16 motorcycles, and in 1906, they produced 50. As the business grew, the backyard shop doubled the size. The company was incorporated in 1907, and production soared to 150 motorcycles. In 1909, the company introduced its first version V-twin powered motorcycle. The 7-horsepower engine produced enough power to reach the lightning-fast speed of 60 miles an hour. Lo and behold. It was in 1908 that Walter set an economy record on a Harley-Davidson, 188.234 miles per gallon. Whoa. It was also in that year that the first Harley-Davidsons were sold for police duty in Detroit, and they were dependable and they were fast. In 1910, the famous Bar and Shield logo was used for the first time on Harley-Davidson motorcycles. Racers across America riding on Harleys were now often finishing first in races, endurance contests, and hill climbs. In 1914, the company formed its own racing team called the Wrecking Crew because of their incredible dominance of the sport. One of the Harley team riders adopted a baby pig as a mascot. He called it Hog. The name from then on became forever associated with Harley-Davidson. So in 1917, about a third of all Harley-Davidson motorcycles were sold to the U.S. Army. The next year, about half of all the Harleys went to the U.S. Army for use in World War I. And by the end of the war, some 20,000 motorcycles were in use. Most of them were Harleys. By 1920, the company was producing more than 30,000 motorcycles per year, became the largest motorcycle manufacturer in the world. But in the 1930s, they became a favorite of the Highway Patrol and other law enforcement agencies nationwide. Now, although the company faced some ups and downs, it kept growing through the years. In 1969, Harley-Davidson merged with American Machine and Foundry Company, otherwise known as AMF, a longtime producer of leisure products. And in 1973, motorcycle production was upgraded when all assembly operations were moved to a modern 400,000 square foot plant in York, Pennsylvania. However, it was during the 70s, you may recall, that the hog began to face some tough times. In order to survive and meet growing demand and increasing global competition, Harley-Davidson had to transform itself and undergo a radical process of organizational change. All of us, from time to time, have to change and adjust our lives. Change is inevitable. Listen, the only people that like change are babies with dirty diapers. Come on. At Harley, they embraced it in order to survive. On February 26, 1981, Harley-Davidson senior executive signed a letter of intent to purchase Harley-Davidson Motor Company from AMF, and by mid-June, the buyback was official, and the comeback of the hog had begun. Through challenging times, it survived to become the last American motorcycle manufacturer, and today, Harley-Davidson celebrated its 100th anniversary in 2003. There are Harley-Davidson restaurants, a clothing line, Harley Barbie dolls, a traveling museum, and luxury hotels that offer Harley vacations. As I recall from my recent ride on a new red Harley, I'm reminded of the fact that it's not what happens to us that makes the difference. It's how we react to what happens. Let's embrace change and get back on the road to success. What a great story. And here's the affirmation for this episode of Boaz Power TV. It's a daily affirmation for the road, and it reads as follows: I react positively to change as I ride down the road to success. You may want to write this down. I react positively to change as I ride down the road to success. Thank you for joining me. If you like these messages, and many people around the world find them highly beneficial, please forward this to 5 people you know. Suggest they go to my website, boazpower.com, and they can also subscribe to the free broadcast weekly of Boaz Power TV. You are special, you are unique, you are destined for greatness. I see it in you. You are a champion. Have a powerful day.
This has been Boaz Power TV. To comment, see other episodes, or to subscribe to this free broadcast, go to our blog at boazpower.com. That's boazpower.com. We're here to take your life to the next level.